Today I'm going to touch up my roots. As you can see, I've got about 1/4 inch of root growth here, and that's generally speaking when I like to do my hair, and I use L'Oreal Excellence Cream. This month I've chosen to use 8G Medium Gold Blonde, which is a warmer tone, and that's important to understand the difference between cool and warm tones. Now, the difference is that warm tones will give you a little bit more golden color and bring out maybe some red in your hair, and cooler tones don't do that. So generally speaking, I use a cooler shade. I use Extra Light Ash Blonde, but this month I've decided to go with this warmer shade because I feel like it's getting a little too blonde in parts, and I don't want it to wash me out, and I like my hair to look natural and healthy and really just show a lot of color and brightness around my face, and so if it's too white, it'll wash me out. So when you open the box, you'll see you get this, which is the developer cream, and then you get this conditioner comes with it, which is really great. I love the conditioner. And then you get the actual permanent color cream itself in the tube. So it also comes with this little serum, and this is to protect the ends, so you can use that. And of course you get the instructions in the box, which are always very important. And if you open up the instructions, you'll find a pair of gloves. And that's important to use the gloves, obviously, because you don't want to burn your skin with any of the harsh chemicals that are in these products. So I always use those, and it's really easy to do this. It only takes a few minutes, and then I'll be ready to let it sit there for up to half an hour. I usually do let it sit as long as I can according to the instructions, which is up to 40 minutes on some of these. And that way I feel like I get the lightest color possible, which is what I generally speaking am going for. So I just opened this developer bottle. So you just open that, and then I'm going to take the color. And it's so simple the way they design this. You just break it open using the lid of the bottle, and then you squeeze it. You can see I'm squeezing it in here. You get as much as possible in there. If you don't get all of it, I don't think it's a huge problem, just most of it. I've done this many times, used these products, and I almost always have a good result. So I think when you're new at it, it's a little bit intimidating, but it's really fairly simple. And you get better at it as you do it. So I have this part already in my hair, so I'm just gonna, I need to shake it up. Don't forget to do that, that would be bad. So you shake it up. That's about it, and then you just put it on. So, and the good thing about this particular product is it doesn't run a lot. I just use my fingers and make sure I get, the darker parts. And you don't have to cover every little bit, because as you do it, it'll sort of go over the different sides. And I just use the lid, this pointy part, the spout of this bottle, to part my hair as I go. And I do, I followed the directions originally, and now I've just done it so much, it comes naturally. And I think it tells you to go every ½ inch or 1/4 inch. So I just do that. And another thing to remember on using these products is that, if you make a mistake, it's not going to, be horrible. It just, maybe you'll miss a spot and it won't look perfect. But I can tell you, after years of going to salons, they make mistakes as well, and it doesn't always look perfect. And I mean, you're probably the only one who's going to notice it most of the time. And then if I do not like a section, I didn't get it enough or whatever, I know I'm doing it again in 3 weeks. Or you could even, wait a couple of days and redo it. And, I wouldn't suggest doing that a lot, but it won't really hurt your hair if you just have one mistake. And I think things like this are pretty forgiving. So I'm just doing this. Normally I do this in a bathroom mirror. I'm using my camera to see. It's kind of an interesting change for me. But this saves you a ton of money, I must say, and I feel like it looks as good. I get so many compliments. It looks better, really, than it did. I don't know if you heard that. That was my dog, Gracie. She will probably be making some appearances in my videos. She's a yellow lab. All right, so you just kind of go on either side of your head and get these darker parts covered. It doesn't really smell that bad. The product's pretty good. They don't really drip. Stay on there. It doesn't burn. I have had it burn before, but if it does, it only lasts for a minute or two. And they tell you to test on your hair if you haven't done it before, just to make sure that you don't have an allergic reaction. So once I've sort of done it around that part, then I like to go ahead and get the hairline. And this part's pretty important because obviously you're going to see that most. And that's where all your darker roots are growing in. So then I kind of go around the back here and make sure you get all that behind your ear, places you might forget. It works surprisingly well too. The colors will blend. I mean, because I've been using the extra light ash blonde, and this time I'm using a different color, but you won't really be able to tell at all because it's not a whole lot further from that color. If you go on the website, you can see all the different shades that are offered to you. So once I do that, I like to make sure that I've gotten the back part, and so I'll use a comb and just sort of separate. You could do this ahead of time, but I just find it just as easy to do like this. I can see the dark roots up there, so I just put some more on. You can feel this and sort of make sure you're getting it. Can you hear that? That's Gracie eating her food. So I just sort of separate this back piece. And I have done this a few times, so I feel like I'm pretty good at it. As I was saying, when I went to hair salons for years, and you know, I would get all different treatments, and I just always felt like, you know, they would miss spots, or I wouldn't want to charge for the whole head of highlights, and so I'd end up with dark parts in my hair. And so I feel like doing it myself, I get as good, if not better, results. And this box only costs $10, and that's an estimate of including taxes. And I live in a big city. I live in Chicago, so I'm sure you can get it cheaper on the internet. I've seen it on sale for $6, and I've always used L'Oreal. I think it's a great line of products, but I'm sure the other lines are even less expensive. What I like about L'Oreal too is they give you this conditioner that comes with it in this tube. I use it. I have several of these now because I've used so many of these products, and it's terrific. It makes your hair feel really silky. I've tried to buy it separately. I haven't really figured out another product that matches it though. All right, so I just kind of go back through, making sure I'm getting all this. I try to use as much as the bottle as possible, might as well. I have long hair, but I'm not getting the ends necessarily till I'll get all the roots done and get them going, and then I might pull it through. In this case, I'm going to pull it through a little bit because I'm trying to use some of these some of this golden color. All right, so I feel like I've really gotten my entire scalp, and you're not really supposed to rub it in, but I do. I've never really had a problem with it. All right, so I kind of just do that, make sure I've gotten all the spots. I might go back through here in the back and really make sure I've gotten these chunks of darkness that will show up when I part my hair in different ways or if the wind blows. Make sure you get all that. But even with, natural color, you have variations in, parts that have gotten more sunlight than others. Or new hair as opposed to hair that's grown out and, seeing heat and styling. They're gonna have variation in color. So that's a natural look, really. All right, so I think it's looking pretty good. You'll notice as it sits in there, it sort of will start changing colors. And I've used different products, and it can look green and purple and dark. It can kind of freak you out, but most of the time those are just some type of chemical reaction, and it washes right out and it looks fine. And I think I'm fairly lucky in the type of hair that I have that it does well with color. I'm sure if you have coarser hair, it might take more higher percentages of the chlorine, whatever's in here, that's going to lighten your hair. But my hair type seems to do pretty well. So that's it as far as putting it all in my head. And I feel like I've gotten all the parts. I might go back in if I feel like I could use up more of it and see how it's actually turning darker in the bottle. So it's probably the oxygen hitting the different chemicals, and that's the color it'll kind of impart on your head too. It'll start looking darker, but it's not going to end up that way when you wash it out. All right, so the directions say to leave it on there for about 20 minutes and then I can work it through. But you can, every hair type is probably different. You can see how it works for you. I generally speaking like to leave my roots going for 30 minutes. And you can already see they're starting to lighten up. And that way I get the roots completely covered. Because if I don't do it, if I do it for shorter amounts of time, sometimes I feel like there's just a little bit of color difference between my treated hair and the new growth. So I try to leave it on for 30 minutes, and in this case, I'll come back in about 10-15 minutes, and I'll run it through the rest because I'm trying to put a little bit more golden into these really white blonde parts that have been processed a few times over the year or months, however long it's been there. Anyway, so I'll let you know how this turns out. So now you can see after it's been sitting in there, 10-15 minutes, it's looking a little reddish, but you can really tell that it's gotten the roots, and that reddish color won't be left in my hair. It's just sort of oxidation, I think, with the chemicals. So now I'm going to just sort of put on the rest of what's left in the bottle and drag it through so that these parts that I felt like were getting too white will be also colored a bit. And I just do that. I don't really worry about getting this on things. If you do, just wipe it right off, and if it won't immediately cause problems with damaging anything. You can tell, look, this bottle's turned totally this brownish, reddish color because of the chemical reactions, oxidation, whatever. So I will leave this on, once I get this totally saturated, I will leave this on for a total of 30 or 40 minutes, depending on how it's looking. All right, so at this point I might pin it up, let it stay on the top of my head. Put a clip in it. Right now it's just staying up there. So I'm going to let this sit now on my hair for another few minutes, and I will let you know what it looks like after I wash it out. Okay, so I've washed all the color out, and I think it turned out pretty good. Look at that, like no more roots. It did a good job. I probably could have done a little better here on the hairline, but it looks pretty natural. I'm happy with it. So I think I've added some color into these parts that were really blonde, and that only took, half an hour, 45 minutes to do. So now I'm just going to blow it dry, and I will show you what I use, just my Conair blow dryer. It's 1875 watts. Now I don't section off my hair and do all that, and I don't, worry about a whole lot of lift at this point. I just go ahead and blow dry my hair, and then I curl it. So I'll show you that whole process next in my next series of videos, and I'm also going to do my makeup so you can see the final look. So I'm going to go ahead and blow it dry at high speed. All right, so it is all dry. Color turned out great. I'm really happy with it. I think that it looks natural. Can't see any roots. It's shiny. This is without any products whatsoever. Now, coloring your hair does damage it. I mean, you can tell it's a little damaged, but I kind of like it because it gives it more body. When it's completely healthy and untreated, it's sort of flat. So I actually like a little damage because it lifts the root a bit, and it makes it feel very light, and it's manageable. And yeah, it feels really good. I'm happy with it. I think that it feels healthy after I use that conditioner, so that's good. And I'm able to grow it long. It doesn't break off, so that's nice. So I'm really happy with my L'Oreal products. So this is my hair just dry without any products. I don't use the hair protectants. I've tried them. I don't really think that they help and protect my hair anymore. So I just, I try to, blow it and, treat it as well as possible. So this is it, just dried. And now I'm going to do my makeup, and I'll curl my hair, and I'll show you that process as I go along.